Okay, so before I even start this, because apparently, according to Tim Sheridan, I'm must be one of these comic skate queer phobe blah 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 blah. Even though I have friends and family who are a part of the lettered community. Um, Also, too, I've mentioned one of my favorite characters and one of my favorite characters out of Arrowverse that I loved, and I literally picked up a comic just because she was in it and wrote it, which is Dreamer, among other characters that I thoroughly enjoy. But let's point this out here. I'm going to preface this with something even more. Earth 2 and Earth 2 Society that DC came out with, I freaking loved it. I loved Valzad. I loved the Power Girl. I loved the concept of when they had the Wonders. And I love the whole agoraphobia situation he had and how it came about because of everything that was going on. The Green Lantern, what's name has it as well. She's been showcased a lot too. But she had it and she had to get over her fear and everything because of the whole Black Lantern thing. But anyway, back to the point. I enjoyed that series where it had and I like the concept of a world without a Batman, Superman, Robin, Wonder Woman. I actually like that because they did it. Now later they reintroduced them and I get it. But I did like Valzad. I did like, Power Girl, aka Supergirl. So overall I did, but I really enjoyed the concept of a world without the Trinity and how that would plan out because they got taken out. One of my probably my favorite character in there outside of that version of Jay Garrick, because he was made through Hermes powers, which I thought was cool, was the Green Lantern Alan Scott. And in that universe, he was gay. I thought it was so cool that they made the Green Lantern part of the Green, and that he was supposed to fight the Rot or the Gray. I thought that was so cool. And the fact that his Green Lantern ring, because the Earth actually turned him into a champion, and it was as long as you're part of the Earth, making him one of the most powerful characters there. I thought that was so cool that the ring that he used to channel the energy, because he needed a conduit, was the ring he was going to propose to his boyfriend at the wedding thing. And I thought that was a really heartfelt story because there was a lot of pain and a lot of love and everything. Alternate universe, he did not have 80 years of continuity. He did not have children. Now, you got Tim Sheridan here, which you probably can see the quote on the screen, saying, "I'm here to ask you a favor. The book comes out next Tuesday, but already the haters and the queerphobes are out in force doing everything they can to see that this book tanks. They make excuses. But the truth is they just don't like there is a queer hero in the upper ranks of the DCU. The only way we can shut these people down is to make this book an undeniable success," he said. "The only way to prove to all the big publishers and that there is a huge market for authentic stories about LGBTQIA plus characters and that these stories are for everyone is to buy the heck out of the books like this. I'm asking if you have the means, buy them up, buy extras to get people, to get to people you think really need to read it." So, damn if the book is good. Dang if the book is well written. You need to buy this book just because it has LGBTQIA people, you bigot. And I know he said some things about also your comics gate if you don't, because I've that's one of the quotes. I forgot the rest, but I remember he said that too. And I'm like, hold on. Firstly, this character is 80 years old. He has 80 years of continuity history, and now you're changing that. And your whole thing, and Alan Scott is up there, but let's be real. Alan Scott, when someone says Green Lantern, most people don't think of Alan Scott. Okay? Unless you're into the old JSA stuff, which older people are, not the Zoomers and the Generation Z or whatever they want to be called this week. Not them. The other problem is that people have legit criticisms. Here's one of my criticisms. And I don't like just because something is something, that means it has to be supported. It still needs to be good. And you can have all the Twitter likes or X likes, whatever you want to call it. You can have all the likes in the world. When it comes down to sales, and this first issue is probably going to get the bump, but let's see what happens in issue 2, issue 3, issue 4. Let's see where the sales are then. Because the same thing happened with Superman, Jonathan Kent, where they were like, this is what it is. I didn't actually have as much of a problem with that because he's a newer character and they only explored his attractions a bit. So that's a little bit more malleable. But this whole, let's just keep changing characters and making them all gay or all this needs to stop. It's the same thing when people tell me I should appreciate something just because a black person did it. No, it still needs to be talented. You still need to be good. You still need to do what you're supposed to do. I'm not going to just say it's good just because someone looks like me in the skin thing. And I know he mentioned, because I don't have the whole thing, but I know he mentioned something about people needing to be represented in there. You're writing a story about older character that mostly older people would be into. Now, I did see something about him donating, but here's where I have an issue. Alan Scott has 2 kids, Jade and Obsidian. Obsidian is gay. Why didn't you do a story about Obsidian? Why is it that we can't seem, and I remember I heard something about FlameCon where they were like, no, we are actively trying to change all these characters. Why is it that you have to actively change these characters? I don't want to see a gay character go straight either. I don't want to see North Star wake up one day and go, you know what? Man, I need some kitty cat today. No! He's an established gay character. I like North Star for being that. Elevate the characters you have. And people having actual criticisms, because I did see some of the preview pages, and now you're having it where Alan Scott didn't seem like he wanted to be a part of, be a hero. He didn't want to be a part of JSA. He was forced to it. Then he had the weird thing with J. Edgar Hoover blackmailing him. Now it seems like J. Edgar Hoover might be attracted to him. So you need to talk to DC, sir. It is not about the gay characters. And the thing is, also, stop mentioning Comicsgate. Because I did see something about that too. Like, you want to take it to the haters in the Comicsgate. Comicsgate, most of the time, is doing their own books and stuff now. They'll come out in droves if you say something about them. But this whole, I'm noticing, what's funny is, I'm noticing the commentary, because I look at both sides. I'm noticing a lot of writers, when their books aren't selling or they're preemptively striking because they know their book is probably not going to sell, they instantly blame Comicsgate haters, istophobes, and stuff like that. And the problem is that look at some of these people who have done that. You attacking the fan base does not help. Any interest I could have possibly had in this book, even though I don't like it, because you're changing the fundamentals of a character in the main universe that's been established for 80 years, that has 2 children, that was married, but okay, I digress. You're going to then turn around and tell everyone this is the only way to own them and you want these stories. You want to know, this is what gets on my nerves. There's a reason why people like Midnighter and Apollo. It's because those characters, they're not defined by just their sexuality. They're defined by other things of, being cool characters. And I don't know how hard it's going to get when you take these characters and you turn them and change them, and you get a bunch of people online that go, yeah, yes, queen, and yeah, boy. And I literally have seen that. Does it translate to sales? Because a person can sit there and say all the stuff they want online and say all the stuff. But at the end of the day, are they going to spend their $5, $6, $7, $8 hard-earned money to buy your comic? Because I can tell you right now, I buy less comics on the floppy side because of the fact that a lot of the comics are bad. Not all of them. And like I said, at some point, yes, I know I keep saying it, I will start to review. comics, but you know, I gotta settle down. I'll get to it when I get to it. That does not change the fact that you can't keep doing that. So I know the comic came out, I think, this week. And now I've seen here on Polygon, Green Lantern writer to donate royalties in response to anti-gay backlash. Green Lantern is the first time I am out queer writer have told a story with a lead character who's gay, says Tim Sheridan. My issue is, and I think it's a 6-issue book, and I remember it's common for comic book creators to get on social media and rally fans to buy their newest book. Tim Sheridan, whose credits include Titans Academy, which sucked, Dragon Age Absolution. I actually thought Dragon Age Absolution was pretty decent. But it makes sense because the majority of the characters were gay. I actually thought that was an interesting concept, to be honest with you. I didn't think it was like horrid, and so yeah, I actually thought it was a very interesting take, and I didn't mind it. I was like, oh, that's kind of reverse. Usually you have one like a gay person or one LGBTQ person, but in this one the majority was, and you had one straight. Oh, that's pretty cool. And I like the action sequence with the when they fought like the lit up skeleton monsters and stuff. So yeah, you know, but you know, because I'm not going to like this book, and I don't like it because he goes, you haven't even read it yet. You've changed a fundamental thing to a character. So no, people can not like something and not consume it. I used to be a person way back where I would constantly say, oh, you can't say you don't like it until you consume it. When I was younger, I actually learned a lesson from that. Someone introduced it to me. Yes, you can. When you change the fundamentals of a person or a thing, something like this, because this one's from Polygon talking about it. I'm like, the backlash isn't because the character is just gay and people are upset because a gay character's in the lead. The backlash is because you took another character with an established history in the main universe, 80 years, who has 2 children. You're like, nope, he was gay. And also, too, I did get to check out a little bit of like some of the previews and a little bit into the book. And come to find out, he was ready to use some death machine, which was like the Red Flame or something. Just to give you an idea of this character, Alan Scott, who's not acting like himself, because he wanted to take out everyone as quickly as possible so he can go on a farm with his boyfriend. And he didn't want to be a part of them, and the G-Men, and like they're changing the fundamentals of who this character is. He's really honestly being a different character. And instead of making a new character or an alternate character, they're doing this thing where he doesn't want to be a hero. He's all this, and that's not who the character was all this time. And if you need proof that that's the problem, take Batman. Bruce Wayne, DC's most popular character. Now turn around and just be like, you know what? We're going to do Batman in his early days. He hates everyone. He's not a superhero, and he just wants to punch criminals, and that's it. It doesn't actually matter that his parents died in front of him or anything like that, and that started his quest. It's really because he would have been that way anyway the whole time, because he wants to punch criminals. You'd be like, hold up. That's not what the driving force behind him. That's not what makes him interesting. But that's a fundamental core character trait that if you put it in the main universe, people are going to have a problem. Now, what's funny is that I actually just took the thing they did with Punisher and made it like that. And took it and applied it to Batman. So, all in all, because I don't want this video to run too long. Like I said, I was reading over the stuff with Polygon and Cosmic Book News. And it's one of those things where it's like, the sad truth about comics is that you don't make a lot of money making them. In fact, you make no money at all. Like he said something about that, and you could check it out. Yeah, the problem is that in the 90s, there was comic book guys who were millionaires. What? I wonder what could have possibly happened to the point where doing a comic book means that you're not even making money when we have billion-dollar movies, even though some of them have sucked recently. Marvel, Phase 4, and 5. But at the time, they were billion-dollar movies, yet they couldn't get the comics off the ground. And that's only been more in the last, I would say, since the 2000s on, that comics, the mid-2000s on, that comics really started to fall off. It's not because people don't want to read comic books. I still see people like Young Ripper, millions. I've seen other people in the indie scene. Even Sean Gordon Murphy, like his comic did really well with the plot holes. I know because I bought it. But like, you see what I'm saying? Like, there are people out there who are selling, and there are people who want to read comics. What they don't want is the characters who they've really invested in completely changed fundamentally just to write your self-insert story. And this is a fundamental thing that now you cannot take back. And unless you retcon the whole universe. And to be honest with you, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I don't like it. When they did the thing with Tim Drake, and there's a bunch of people like, you need to just accept it, bigot. Like, no. Use a character that actually is. See, that's my whole thing. Elevate the characters you already have that are in there, that are at community. Do the legwork, do the thing, and say, hey, we want to bring this character to the forefront. No, instead they're just like, who are we going to change now? Who are we going to race swap? Who are we going to change their interest, even though it's been, this character has been around for decades. But let's just change their sexuality just because we feel like it on a whim, because we want representation, when actuality, only younger people seem to do this whole representation thing, and to be honest with you, it's kind of a little bit of a fake outrage. I've seen it. Not saying that everybody doesn't want to be represented or nobody does, but it's usually implemented in a different way. And I've seen some people go, I like this character because of their skin color. And I'm like, okay, well, what else about, or because they're this. And then I'm like, okay, well, what else about the character? Well, that's all I need. No, you need more than, if you want to see yourself in there are tons of queer comic books out there and things like this, and romance novels and things, if you need to see yourself represented. However, you don't need to see yourself represented in every single character to be able to relate to the character. That is actually more of a self problem. So whatever. From what I've seen of it, it also kind of implied that J. Edgar Hoover was kind of attracted to him, and I just, and don't get me wrong, I'm not dismissing the horrible things of the past either, of the chemical castrations, the things like that. What I'm saying is that if you're going to do it with a character, why not do it with a character who actually was implied and made from the door to be the thing you are looking for, and not have to fundamentally change the character? Or if you're going to change the character, show an actual journey and not on the character becoming that, but also not make that their only focus, where the whole time in the comic book they're just thinking about being gay, being gay, being gay, being gay, being gay, like that, because that's what a lot of these comics do, and it bogs down the story. Because I'm like, okay, you like guys, sure, what else you got for me? Keep protagonists, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. But begging fans to buy a comic and then calling everyone a name, which I could have had a little interest, because I like Alan Scott, and I would have liked to possibly, even though I don't like it, maybe I might have been able to check it out until you started saying that if I have any issue with it at all, just because he's gay, I'm a comics gay, or I'm some bigot. So now I'm like, no, I'm not going to even check it out now. Good job. If you want to call me one of them, fine. But like I said, I totally bought Earth 2. I bought the heck out of Earth 2. And one of my favorite characters in Earth 2 was Alan Scott, who was gay in that universe. Because it was a different universe, and it was starting from scratch, pretty much. And now you can make these changes. Do I always have to agree with them? No, but I thought he was handled very well. See ya. And love to hear what you think.